Hello everyone and welcome to Lost in the Reel. We are in the last month of 2021 and with Oscar hopefuls, holiday films, and blockbusters flooding our screens, it is truly a busy time for us movie lovers out there. So as I finish up my last minute binge watching to prepare for end of the year lists, I thought I'd take some time out to do another review roundup of some films that I have watched recently. So without further ado, let's do it. The first film I will be talking about today is House of Gucci. Ridley Scott's film follows the true story of how Patrizia Reggiani plotted to kill her husband Maurizio Gucci, the grandson of renowned fashion designer Guccio Gucci. Let's start off by saying that I believe that Lady Gaga and Jared Leto steal this show. I think so many people are not liking this film because they were expecting Oscar bait or prestige cinema. If you go into House of Gucci without those preconceived notions and just want a flashy, silly, and epic crime biopic, you will enjoy yourself. Do not get me wrong though, this is a hot mess of a movie if I've ever seen one. The editing is horrific. I really feel like there's a 4-hour director's cut out there and the studio forced Scott to edit it down to 2.5 hours. Time passes in such an odd way in House of Gucci. One moment a character will be pregnant and then all of a sudden the baby is already born. Another moment someone is sprightly and alive and in the next scene they are on their deathbed. It just feels like the connective tissue between time periods and also locations was left on the cutting room floor in pursuit of a more palatable runtime. All of this to say that I still found House of Gucci to be entertaining as hell. The cast is great, besides a disastrously miscast Jeremy Irons, who cannot hold his accent for more than 10 seconds, and I was pleasantly surprised by how little this movie took itself seriously. I have a hard time believing House of Gucci has any Oscar chances anymore, but as a good time at the movies, I found that the film succeeded. So I will be giving House of Gucci 3 Gucci handbags out of 5. Prestige cinema, this is not. But Ridley Scott has created a flashy and at times ridiculous epic crime story that is admittedly messy as hell, but altogether entertaining. The next film I will be going over is Oscar frontrunner Belfast. Buddy is a young boy on the cusp of adolescence whose life is filled with familial love, childhood hijinks, and a blossoming romance. Yet, with his beloved hometown caught up in increasing turmoil, his family faces a momentous choice. Hope the conflict will pass, or leave everything they know behind for a new life. Kenneth Branagh's Belfast is a touching little film. It's the type of cinema that is no longer made anymore because studios don't see the dollar signs when it comes to old-fashioned, adult-skewing personal dramas. But it is a delight to see Branagh's vision come to life through the lens of a coming-of-age story amidst a time of turmoil in Northern Ireland. The black and white cinematography is a sight to behold and really makes you feel like you're watching something genuinely from that time and place. The acting is all around stunning, but for me, the real standout here was Caitríona Balfe, who is a shoo-in for an Oscar nomination for Best Supporting Actress. Her inner turmoil of choosing between staying in the place she has always called home and fleeing to make a better life for her family, and the tension this conflict has on her relationship with her husband, is the true driving force of this film's plot, and her performance is heartbreaking and powerful. I do think that Belfast is a little slight, mostly in its lack of story to propel its momentum, but that never stopped me from enjoying my experience. This is an ode to classic movies like Bicycle Thieves and The 500 Blows, where not a whole lot happens, but the audience is transported to another time, into these characters' lives, and we are allowed to savor the moments we are able to spend with them. And that scene when Jamie Dornan sings Everlasting Love is one of the best movie moments of the year. Branagh should definitely concentrate on making more films like this, rather than blockbusters like Artemis Fowl. So, I will be giving Belfast 3.5 Turkish Delights out of 5. A delightfully old-fashioned film that will most certainly put a smile on your face, while still telling a very personal and melancholy story. But Belfast could have benefited from adding some more meat and potatoes to its story, because it does feel slight at times. I do believe that this Oscar frontrunner accomplishes its humble ambitions though, and it does so extremely well. The third film I will be going over is Silent Night. Nell, Simon, and their boy Art are ready to welcome friends and family for what promises to be a perfect Christmas gathering. Perfect, except for one thing. Everyone is going to die. A dark comedy apocalyptic Christmas movie from producer Matthew Vaughn, who gave us Stardust and Kingsman, starring an incredible ensemble including Keira Knightley, Matthew Good, Lucy Punch, Annabelle Wallis, and Lily Rose Depp. What could go wrong? Apparently, a whole lot. First off, this mashup of genres is just so ill-conceived. None of the genres shine through, making the whole affair feel extremely haphazard. Silent Night starts off with some dry British humor that soon turns dark, but nothing is ever funny. Then the psychological drama sets in, and the film attempts to become a meditation on mortality. This doesn't work either. And finally, Silent Night becomes an unbearably depressing slog that I honestly just wanted to turn off. On the bright side, the wonderful cast does what they can with the material, and the final moments of the movie wrap it up in a satisfying way, even though everything that came before it was the opposite of satisfying. To put it lightly, Silent Night is a film with an identity crisis, and shame on it for trying to ruin Christmas. So, I will be giving Silent Night 2 sticky toffee puddings out of 5. This is one of those movies where nothing really works the way that the filmmakers had envisioned. Silent Night is a depressing and bleak psychological drama without an ounce of Christmas spirit, with an extremely talented cast trying to keep the ship afloat. But if you're feeling like Ebenezer Scrooge this holiday season, maybe this movie will be for you. Next up, we have the Scott Cooper-directed, Guillermo del Toro-produced Antlers. A young teacher discovers that her troubled student's father and younger brother harbor a deadly supernatural secret. Taking the boy into her care, the teacher must fight for their survival against horrors beyond imagination. This psychological horror creature feature was one of my most anticipated films of the year. After multiple delays, it finally reached our screens to a resounding thud at the box office. It's a real shame because even though Antlers has a couple of issues, I think it's one of the finest horror flicks of 2021. I love movies that slowly build in dread, amplified by a simplistic haunting score and eerie atmosphere, which Antlers provides in spades. There is this feeling that you get when watching this film that everything surrounding these characters is just drenched in gloom and filth. It's not the prettiest film to look at, but it certainly takes you to a depraved and gritty place. I also appreciated how this movie actually provides more than just scares. Its themes of the cycles of abuse, neglect, and addiction in our society really hit home for me and elevated this story to another level. As I said before, Antlers does have a couple of issues. It falls victim to a few annoying story tropes, and I would have appreciated an extra 20 or so minutes to delve deeper into the mystery and get a little bit more character development from our 2 leads. But Antlers pretty much overcomes those nitpicks with a breathtaking ending with one of the best creature effects and designs I have seen in a movie in a very long time. Count this as one of the more underrated films of the year. So I will be giving Antlers 3.75 animal traps out of 5. A couple of lazy genre tropes aside, this psychological horror feature is a disturbing and haunting experience that has far more up its sleeve than one might originally think. If you're a fan of more grounded and sophisticated horror, Antlers will certainly not disappoint. Our fifth film is the National Geographic documentary, The Rescue, streaming now on Disney+. I'm gonna say this right now, The Rescue is on its way to Oscar glory, and deservedly so. This riveting documentary shows never-before-seen footage and exclusive interviews with the team behind a seemingly impossible rescue mission that lasted a shocking 16 days. They must save a soccer team and their coach from the depths of a cave in Thailand that will soon be completely submerged in water. Although we all know how this turned out, The Rescue is nonetheless gripping and nail-biting as the audience is put right onto the front lines, feeling all of the anxiety and desperation of these heroes. As someone who is very claustrophobic, I found this film to be more terrifying than 99% of all of the horror films that have come out this year. This is harrowing, moving, and edge-of-your-seat filmmaking. But not only that, The Rescue provides a glimmer of inspiration to witness the world coming together in the pursuit of a common goal and to experience firsthand the sheer power of the human spirit. This is a must-watch for anyone and everyone. It is easily one of the best documentaries in years. So I will be giving The Rescue 4.75 oxygen tanks out of 5. Although we saw it all on the news and know how it ends, this documentary really puts us in the shoes of the heroes that pulled off this incredible rescue mission. I was terrified, in tears, and had goosebumps nearly all of the way through. The Rescue is absolutely riveting nonfiction cinema. The last film I will be covering today is Come On, Come On, a documentary filmmaker whose latest project involves gifted children, bonds with his smart yet sensitive nephew, whose father struggles with bipolar disorder and is in the grips of a manic episode. Mike Mills has really given us such wonderful films over the past decade, with Beginners and the even better 21st Century Women. He seems to be growing as a filmmaker with each passing project, as Come On, Come On is certainly his most thoughtful and keenly observed work yet. I must say that I enjoyed 21st Century Women a bit more as I connected to it so personally, but this is still a genius movie. The way in which Mills guides us through his poignant messages and observations of life, and then the way he connects them into a flowing narrative, with authentic interviews with real kids, narration of articles and passages, perfectly placed flashbacks, etc., is absolutely remarkable. Come On, Come On's integral relationship between uncle and nephew is brought to such vivid life through the performances of Joaquin Phoenix, who is refreshingly gentle and warm here, and young Woody Norman, whose nuanced and exuberant turn blew me away. This kid should get an Oscar nomination over many of the seasoned actors who are on everybody's prediction list right now. Regrettably, because Come On, Come On lacks much of a plot, there were times I felt it to be meandering and slow. And I think general audiences could feel the same way as multiple groups of people walked out of the movie in my screening. But that never took away my admiration for it. This is a film about how children perceive the world, and how we, as adults, yearn to go back to see it through those innocent eyes again. Come On, Come On is touching but sad, brightly funny, and at times dark. It is a very human story that captures many of the unavoidable, pervasive issues of our society, but always, miraculously and optimistically, finds the light at the end of the tunnel. So I will be giving Come On, Come On 4 salami sticks with cheese out of 5. Though some audiences will be turned off by its leisurely approach, this is a genuinely lovely film. Anchored by the 2 touching performances from its leads, Come On, Come On is an honest, moving, and brilliantly observed piece on the way humans see the world and how we can learn from each other to make it a better place. Thank you so much for watching Lost in the Reel. I would love to hear your thoughts on all of these films in the comment section down below. And until next time, my friends, take care.